Avid readers. So yesterday we read this book, It Is Spring, and I want you to read through with me today because we're going to be better at it today because we saw it yesterday, and we're going to gather up some information. So I want you to think in your brain right now what kind of information that you either have a connection to in this book from yesterday or that you notice from the book, because that's what avid readers do. They ask themselves questions about the book. Like when I look at the cover here and I think it is spring, I start to think to myself, what kind of stuff do I notice in the spring? Well, I've noticed a lot more birds. Just seeing those baby birds. I haven't seen any baby birds yet, but I have noticed a lot more birds just outside of my yard and in the trees, and I hear them more. So I think spring probably brings back some birds. I think I could probably say that from this book and from what I've seen. So it is spring, right? Read it with me. It is spring. And just like I forgot the page didn't turn. Just like we've been working on all along, we are trying to read. We're trying to use all of our reading skills. And reading like a teacher or like a movie star is important, not just like a robot, right? We practice and get better and better. We use that reread power. Let's read this part. It is spring. And the information I gathered from this page are that worms come out in the spring. And I think there's another page with worms. And I don't know about you, but I have seen so many worms lately. I feel like I've seen about 100 worms, both dead in the road, alive in my yard. I even saw those little piles of like worm hole piles. Those are the castings, which is another word for worm poop, but the castings from the worms. And you know what the best thing for a garden is? Worm poop. So I guess you see a lot of worms in spring. That's the information I'm gathering. Here we go. Let's read it. We know it now. Look at that picture power. Get those words popping in your head. Ready? The sun pops up. Yeah, it gets sunnier and warmer in the spring. The flowers pop out. Do you have a connection to that? I sure do. My garden has flowers now. Oh, there it is. I knew there was a page that matched that page. The worms pop up. I actually saved some worms on my walk yesterday. Yesterday I wanted to say the garden, but I see the P again. So I know it's not G for garden, it's P for plants. Ready? The plants pop up. Maybe you've started planting a garden. It's a little early in New Hampshire to plant a garden, but I know that my friend Tyler's got some plants growing in the house, ready for a garden soon. Good connection, Tyler. This is happening in my yard big time. My trees have little teeny, not big like that one, but little teeny tiny leaves. The leaves pop out. Read it with me. The leaves pop out. Oh, yes. I know, Mrs. Wilson, do you remember her from school? She found a little egg, a robin's egg. It's bright blue, and she's going to try to hatch it. The birds pop out. And the animals pop out. Oh, there's no and. I added that. The animals pop out. I've been seeing a lot of animals. And the one animal I keep seeing over and over again is a porcupine, and they sleep for part of the winter too. So popping out animals. I've seen so many squirrels and chipmunks. What about you guys? Are there any animals that are not on here that you've seen? Here is an animal I saw on my hike the other day. A snake. Spring. First, I thought maybe that said snake. Well, the very first time I read it, but I know it says spring now. Spring pops out. Remember this big one? Everywhere. Pop, pop, pop. So from this book, I gathered information about plants and animals, all the flowers and the leaves. And the later we get in spring, the more we see. The grass gets greener. You might see more animals. You might see a snake. Scare the daylights out of my husband. I did see a lot of birds. What do you see? Where are your connections? What information did you gather? Nice job today, my friends. Keep reading, avid readers. Try to find some nonfiction books to read. Bye now.